Well, InBook is a secure social networking system, and it's for students, mainly students with additional support needs. It was actually an email that I received from Jisc, and it was asking for people to volunteer for InBook, and it was just a pilot. And at that time I was teaching internet safety to a group of our network students who are more able students, and I thought, well, that sounds quite good, because we've been talking about Facebook, and I know that all of the students are really quite keen on Facebook. It takes up a lot of their time. They're really good at it. So, however, it does cause a lot of problems within our department. Between students, parents call up and there's been issues, things said on Facebook or messages sent or pictures on that they're not happy with. So a lot of our students are very vulnerable. So they're not aware that this is wrong. So when parents are seeing it, they know it's wrong. So they're getting in contact with us. And a lot of staff are saying, oh, Carrie, how do we change passwords? How do we do this? So I thought, well, that sounds quite good. So I signed up for it, and we were lucky enough to take part in the pilot. So it's been great. It's been a tool to teach the students about using social networking sites safely, and not even just social networking sites. I've used it for general internet safety as well. So that was kind of how we came about using it. Well, when I started InBook, I had a video conference with Kevin and Lisa, and they kind of showed me or talked me through it. They sent me the user guide through. I had to look at it myself, and then I went on to it with the students. Initially, when I signed up for it, I did think there would be more structure to it. I thought there would be lesson plans, and there might be more kind of interaction with people in InBook. There might be, this is what you have to do, and the only kind of thing I knew that I had to do was produce a code of conduct for InBook. So that was one of my main aims. And also, because I didn't have any kind of structure, I just thought, right, I need to make up something myself here. And as I had been teaching internet safety before, I just incorporated those ideas and kind of used InBook as a tool, as a kind of platform to then go on and talk about other things. That was really what I did. I don't know if that's what you were supposed to do, but it worked for me, it worked for the students, and we went on to InBook first of all, had a nosy round, and figured out how to use it and how to do certain things. And the advantage was that it was really similar to Facebook, and most of the students are on Facebook or other social networking sites, so we're able to go on and do that without, it wasn't a huge, big, difficult task for us to do. And then using InBook, and we started off using it every lesson at the start, and then it kind of led us into discussions on cyberbullying, onto meeting strangers on the internet, what to do if a stranger adds you, even maybe not with the more able group, it kind of led on to things like grooming and things like that. Even with the less able group, but we didn't go as in depth. So it took us on to a range of subjects, and some subjects that I didn't even think would come up, internet dating and things like that. So it brought up a huge range of subjects, and it all stemmed from going on to InBook and just having a general chat about it. Maybe the aim for the lesson was to put a profile picture on, and that led us into talking about meeting strangers on the internet, which then led us into internet dating and things like that. So it was really good. So I did have a plan, but as I say, things came up that I hadn't thought about, or that the students wanted to talk about, and so it was great. Well, for each class that we teach in sports learning, we have to have a summary, an outcome sheet. So I made a summary sheet up for InBook. So the initial success was that all students passed. They all achieved the three outcomes for InBook. So that's the kind of college outcomes and things like that. But it's not all about attainment for our students. It's about achievements. It's about what they can achieve. So there was certain things, like when we were talking about meeting strangers on the internet, or meeting or adding people that you don't know. One Friday afternoon, a student came in and he'd went home and deleted all those people that he'd never met before or didn't know. So that's a success. We had another incident where a girl had put herself at really high risk on BBM, which is a chatting kind of social networking, social media type thing. She put herself at high risk. She came to me for help, and along with other agencies we were able to provide that help and sort it out with parents as well. So that was huge. She came to me because we'd spoken about it before. Things like we spoke about putting inappropriate pictures up on the computer and tagging people that are commenting and things, and one girl had deleted all the pictures because she realised that it was upsetting another student or it might cause offence. So things that they were transferring their skills that they'd learned in the classroom into real life situations, and they were transferring it from InBook and what we talked about in InBook into their other social media sites like Facebook and Twitter and things, and they were able to take the initiative and do that, which was a real success. And for lots of the students as well, even just communicating, that's a huge thing. So learning through experience by actually going on to InBook, instead of me just going up and showing them things and telling them things, to actually go on to a social networking site and do things. They were learning through experience, and they were talking to, they were communicating, saying, I've heard this, and I know somebody that did this. And some of the students are, not very good at communicating, so for them to have a chat with you about it was a huge success, and that, so it wasn't all about attainment, it was mostly about what the students had achieved, and it was, there was quite a few success stories, so I was delighted with that. Well, the first thing I would suggest is to change the passwords. That was a huge thing. The passwords, when we got them from InBook, it was the username, which was fine because it was the student's name, but the password was a mixture of capital letters, lowercase letters, numbers, and it wasn't a word, it was just a jumbled up, and that was really difficult. Our students find it difficult to remember passwords and things at the best of times. So the first thing that we actually did was we changed it to their logon details for their general computer, so if they could get onto the computer then they would know their InBook. But again, it was private, you couldn't tell anyone your password. And that's kind of when things came up, like the password situation, that took us into a whole lesson about, don't share your password, and keep it safe, keep it to something you remember, and things like that. So that would be my main thing, change your passwords, because that was the first week. It took us a long time to get onto InBook. I think as well, I'm the only person within the department that uses InBook. I signed a few of the lecturers up for it at the start, gave their email addresses, but I don't think, no one teaches internet safety apart from myself. It's Eileen does computing and things, and I thought they might be keen, but obviously other things take priority and they've got their other classes. I think it would be more beneficial if there were more people in the department to use it. One of the main things that the students all said were, their friends weren't on it, so I think it would be more beneficial for them if all of the students used it, so it wasn't a specific internet safety class, it was something that we all kind of did in a computing class, a general computing class, so that they could chat to their friends, so that they were using it in other classrooms as well, and even in a communication classroom, just to transfer the skills as well. I think that would be something, I would try and encourage that the next time. But the problem is you have different groups of students and you don't always get the same students, so I'd see these students but in different classes, but I would try and encourage it. So I think it would be great if everyone used it straight away or knew how to use it, and then it was up to you, if you, as a member of staff, if you wanted to continue to use it or encourage it within your class. And things do come up, and we spoke about things that I had never planned for, so I think it is a fantastic tool, not only for internet safety but for other things. So I think that's only kind of two things, and I think I'd maybe prefer it if there was some sort of structure to it. As I say, I don't know if what I was doing was correct. It worked for me, it worked for the students, but I think maybe some people would have other ideas, and a role play was mentioned, and pictures, and a lot of our students are visual learners, so that would be good. But I think sharing all the good practice that I'm doing, that other staff members are doing and other colleges are doing would be great. I think that would be more beneficial.